We have some great news coming out of Canada today. Huffington Post reports here. Canada's Liberal government will introduce a law in spring 2017 to legalize recreational marijuana, it said on Wednesday, fulfilling an election pledge and following several U.S. states in permitting easy access to the drug. Health Minister Jane Philpott, speaking at a special session of the United Nations General Assembly in New York, said the Canadian law will ensure marijuana is kept away from children and keeps criminals from profiting from its sale. Okay, obviously this is fantastic, but what I love is that last sentence right there, because that says everything. So she had to go in front of the United Nations and say, okay, don't worry, because this law we're going to make sure it stays away from kids. Again, okay, so all you need is a law that says kids can't have it, but we'll make sure that criminals can't profit from its sale. To which I respond, yeah, the only way you can make sure that criminals don't profit from its sale is to legalize it. But the idiots at the United Nations, and definitely the idiots in the U.S. government are like, oh, what do you mean? I don't understand. I thought if we ban it, then nobody ever has it. It goes away when we say, no, you can't have it. That's the way it works. Yeah, how'd that work out with Prohibition? The opposite happened with Prohibition, didn't it? Where, so we banned alcohol, and then you pushed it underground. There was a black market that was created. And who profited the most from sales of alcohol? Say it with me, the mafia. So when you ban marijuana and you ban drugs, who profits most from it? Say it with me, drug cartels. So that's why you have an increase in crime when something like this is banned, and that's why you have a literal drug war where over 60,000 people have died on the border with Mexico because it's a war. So again, these are things people don't talk about. And then furthermore, we know that after having spent $1 trillion on this failed drug war, more people are taking drugs now than they were before. Okay, that is abject failure. You can't fail more than that. That's as bad as it gets. Your whole point was to limit the number of drug users, or actually the more ambitious people, and there are quotes from people who supported the drug war at the time saying, no, we're actually going to eliminate drugs. Oh my God, that's fucking adorable. They thought they could stop drug use. How stupid are they? There's a natural market for it, you idiots. So the best way to stop the social ills that are tied in with drugs is to legalize, tax, and regulate. And then guess what? 80% to 90% of the people who do drugs are fine. They function in society, they go about their business, and they just have a little bit every now and then. Just like with alcohol. Now, are there going to be 10% to 20% that can't handle it, and they're genuine addicts, and they run into trouble for whatever reason? Yes. But what do you do with those people? Well, we have this radical idea that you give them fucking treatment, you treat it like a medical issue, as opposed to locking them up in a cage and throwing away the key. I mean, right now in the United States of America, we have more people locked up than Stalin did in his gulags when they were most packed. So think about how stupid that is. You're just wasting human lives, and that's why there's this great book out that describes the current situation as the new Jim Crow for minorities in America. Because all you did is you transferred it. So first you had minorities, and specifically black people, as slaves, and then it became, okay, now there's going to be Jim Crow and official segregation, and now it's just been transferred into, well, we're going to do this war on drugs that specifically targets you and locks you up, and you're one of the undesirables, so that's where we want you. And again, for people who say, oh my God, that's crazy conspiracy theory, no, we just did the story. Harper's Magazine, it was an amazing story where they spoke to a top Nixon aide, somebody who literally went to jail for him over Watergate. And he was like, he admitted it. He's like, no, totally. The whole point of the drug war was to lock up the undesirables. They said, black people were not going to vote for us. We're against our priorities. So we wanted to control them. And hippies, white liberals, they were against us too. So you can't just ban being black or being a hippie. So we tried to criminalize the lifestyle. So if they happen to smoke weed, there you go, perfect. So pass these laws, throw them in jail for that, and only target those communities. It's exactly what it is. So meanwhile, you can have these fat cat rich pricks drink whiskey all night long, which is a harder drug and a worse drug for you. They don't go to jail, they just sip their whiskey in their house, and that's it, they go to sleep. Nobody gets locked up. But if you have somebody who's black or a hippie, smoke some weed at night, oh my God, lock them up, throw away the key. What are you doing? That's the whole point. The whole point of it was repression and oppression. So, I mean, I know historical facts are fucking stubborn here, but why not move in this direction? And if you're a conservative, I mean, you should support this on because of freedom and liberty alone. So do you really believe in small government, or are you just talking out of your ass? Because if you do believe in small government, well, it's smaller government to make it so that they can't lock you up when you want to slightly change the nature of your consciousness and put something in your body when you're not hurting anybody. So do you really believe in liberty? Do you really believe in small government? Because if you do, say, okay, people can do whatever they want when it comes to substances. I'm not just going to lock you up for that. That's crazy. But of course, there's plenty of hypocrites who disagree with that. Silly people, ridiculous people. So Canada's moving in the right direction. And look, this is my plea to the U.S. government. We have a Democratic administration. He's done some good things. Don't get me wrong. So he's released many nonviolent drug offenders. Great. I would release them all. I would. And then when Fox News flips out, say, fuck off. Why? They're going to flip out anyway. You release one person, they flip out. You release 18,000, they'll flip out the same amount. Why? Because you're Obama. They're going to flip out no matter what. Why not do the right thing and release them all? I would release them all. I'd also change the scheduling of marijuana. Right now, it's up there with fucking crystal meth. That makes no sense. So I'd do that, and I'd also fight to try to legalize it. 58% of Americans agree with you. Take this issue to the American people. Take it to the media. Do a media tour. Hammer the Republicans. Call them fucking fascists because they want to lock you up if you do a drug, and they disagree with 58% of the American people. They don't care about the democratic will of the people. Make this argument. So, Obama sits around, and we have, 4 states now in the U.S. that have legal recreational weed? It's still illegal on a federal level. And federal law overrides state law, so you have to change the federal law. And, there's no push for it. So I'm begging the U.S. government, you got to do a full court press on this, and you got to try to do it. Let's not have another modern country get in front of us on another fucking issue. Okay? That's what's happening with Canada right now. They're already almost all ahead of us on universal health care and universal education and daycare and paid vacation time. You want to let them pass us on this one too? When we gave ourselves a little lead in the beginning because some of the states had legalized it? Come on, man. Let's legalize it at the federal level. This is not that hard to figure out.